for the past few days, and today's topic is colligative properties and abnormal molar masses. So this is a very important topic of this lesson. Let us try to understand. Please concentrate while discussing so that you can understand properly. Okay, so let us move on to the topic. So I hope you are able to see the slides. Yes. So colligative properties. Yes. Thank you. Colligative properties means, see here, when we take solutions depends on different properties. Okay, so here some of the properties which depends on the only solute concentration. Some of the properties which depends on the only solute concentrations of the solutions. Such kind of properties are called colligative properties. See here, many properties are there. For example, in previous class you might have listened about vapor pressure. So vapor pressure of the solution depends on the solute particles or concentration of the solution. So here also some of the properties are there which depends on the number of solute particles, or otherwise we can say concentration of the solute. Okay, so irrespective of their nature, అంటే ఏంటి, సొల్యూట్ యొక్క కాన్సంట్రేషన్ పైన మాత్రమే డిపెండ్ అవుతుంది, సొల్యూట్ యొక్క నేచర్ పైన డిపెండ్ అవుతుంది. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, if you take the solution of sodium chloride salt solution, and if you take the solution of glucose or sucrose, ఇక్కడ సాల్ట్ సొల్యూషన్ తీసుకుంటాము, గ్లూకోజ్ సొల్యూషన్స్, 2 సొల్యూషన్స్ తీసుకున్నాం అనుకోండి. ఇక్కడ NaCl తీసుకున్నారా లేదంటే గ్లూకోజ్ తీసుకున్నారా అనే దాని మీద కాకుండా the concentration of the solute, the concentration of the solute means here salt solution or salt or the concentration of the glucose, వీటి పైన మాత్రమే డిపెండ్ అవుతుంది, నేచర్ పైన డిపెండ్ అవ్వదు. ఓకే, సో the properties which depends on the number of solute particles irrespective of their nature. So such kind of properties are called colligative properties. So here we have 4 colligative properties in our syllabus. So the first one is relative lowering of vapor pressure. Video రావడం లేదా?
No sir.
Slide is not visible, sir.
స్లైడ్ రావడం లేదమ్మా? ఓకే,
Video is not visible.
Okay, sir.
ఇప్పుడు వస్తున్నానా?
Yes,
Yes
sir.
sir. Sir. Sir.
Yes. 1 minute. Yes. So in solutions, the properties of the solution depends on the only solute particles or solute concentration. So such kind of properties are called colligative properties. So these properties do not depend on the identity or their nature. Okay, whether we are taking NaCl or glucose or sucrose or ammonium chloride or some other solutions, మనం ఏ సొల్యూషన్ తీసుకుంటున్నాం అనేది, అంటే ఏ సొల్యూట్ తీసుకున్నాం అనేది కాదు, దాని యొక్క కాన్సంట్రేషన్ ఎంత ఉంది అనేది ఇక్కడ ప్రాపర్టీ అనేది డిసైడ్ అవుతుంది అన్నమాట. సో ద ప్రాపర్టీస్ విచ్ డిపెండ్స్ ఆన్ ది properties which depend on the number of solute particles irrespective of their nature. So such properties are called colligative properties. So please remember, properties which depends on the number of solute particles, or otherwise we can say the concentration of the solute. Okay, so these are of 4 we have in our syllabus. The first one is relative lowering of vapor pressure. Simply we can call it as RLVP, relative lowering of vapor pressure. And the second one is elevation of boiling point. And the third one is depression of freezing point. And the fourth one is osmotic pressure. So these are the four important colligative properties we have in our syllabus. Okay, so let us discuss about the first one, that is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. Yes. So before going to discuss about the relative lowering of vapor pressure, first we should know what is vapor pressure and what is lowering of vapor pressure. For example, in this slide, I'm showing you two containers or two beakers in which one is having, or this container has, a pure solvent or pure liquid. In this one, along with the pure liquid, we have added or we have taken some solute. Okay, see here, if it is volatile nature or if it has volatile nature, the molecules of this liquid undergo vaporization. So some of the molecules vaporizes and reaches to this area due to, because of the atmospheric pressure, these molecules, these vapor molecules exert some pressure on the surface of this liquid. This is nothing but vapor pressure of the solvent or this liquid. So vapor pressure means pressure exerted by the vapor molecules. So this is vapor pressure. Okay, now come to here. In this container, we have added or we have taken some solute particles into this. Okay, so into the same beaker, we have added some solute particles. So due to, because of adding solute particles, these solute particles occupy some surface area in this container, so that the solvent molecules vaporization will be decreased. Okay, సో ఇక్కడ మనము సొల్యూట్ పార్టికల్స్ ని యాడ్ చేయడం వల్ల ఈ సొల్యూట్ పార్టికల్స్ సర్ఫేస్ ఏరియాని ఆక్యుపై చేయడం వల్ల ఇందులో ఉన్నటువంటి సాల్వెంట్ మాలిక్యూల్స్ వేపరైజేషన్ అనేది కొంచెం తగ్గుతుంది. ఓకే, సో ఎప్పుడైతే వేపరైజేషన్ కొంచెం తగ్గుతుందో ఇక్కడ వేపర్ మాలిక్యూల్స్ కూడా కొంచెం తక్కువ ఉంటాయి కదా. సో ఎప్పుడైతే వేపర్ మాలిక్యూల్స్ ఇక్కడ తక్కువ ఉంటాయో ఈ వేపర్ మాలిక్యూల్స్ ఎగ్జర్ట్ చేసే ప్రెషర్, ఓకే, the pressure which is exerted by the vapor molecules in this container will be decreased. Okay, so ikkada taggutundi. So that is nothing but lowering of vapor pressure by adding solute into this solvent. So this is nothing but vapor pressure of the solution. So ikkada solute ni add chesam kabatti dini solution ni pilustam. ikkada vachesi only solvent maatrame undi kabatti pure solvent ani manam teeskuntam. So let us assume as P01. P01 is taken as vapor pressure of the pure solvent and P1 is the vapor pressure of the solution with solute. Okay, so once again, so here we have a pure liquid which evaporates to this area and these vapors exert some pressure on the surface of this liquid. So the pressure exerted by the vapors is known as vapor pressure and it is denoted by P01. Okay, now come to this area. When we have taken some solute particles into the same container, now these particles occupies the surface area and decreases the evaporation of the solvent molecules, is it? So that vapor pressure exerted by these molecules is less than that of this one. So ఇందులో ఎక్కడ వేపర్ ప్రెషర్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది చెప్తారు?
సాల్వెంట్.
ఎస్, వెరీ గుడ్. సో ప్యూర్ సాల్వెంట్ లో వేపర్ ప్రెషర్ చాలా ఎక్కువగా ఉంటుంది సొల్యూషన్ తో కంపేర్ చేస్తే. సో ద డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ ద వేపర్ ప్రెషర్ ఆఫ్ దీస్ టూ కెన్ బి రిటన్ యాజ్ P01 minus P1 is equal to lowering of vapor pressure. Okay, so here also this image also shown the same content. Okay, so here also we can see pure solvent occupies the surface area like this. As it is volatile in nature, these molecules gets evaporated and reaches to this area, and these vapors exert pressure on the liquid, that is called vapor pressure. Here, when you take the green color balls, solute occupies some surface area, okay, and it prevents to vaporize the solvent molecules. So hence here less molecules, less vapor molecules can be observed here, so that vapor pressure is decreased here. That is called lowering of vapor pressure. So lowering of vapor pressure is due to because of the adding non-volatile solute to the pure solvent. So it can be written as P1 not, sorry, P01 minus P1 is equal to lowering of vapor pressure. Okay, I hope. Now let us discuss about relative lowering of vapor pressure. So now you know that P01 and P1, P01 minus P1, it is nothing but lowering of vapor pressure. So when we compare the lowering of vapor pressure to the pure solvent, that is nothing but relative lowering of vapor pressure. See here, see the definition. Ratio of lowering of vapor pressure of a solution of non-volatile solute to the vapor pressure of the pure solvent is known as relative lowering of vapor pressure. So we are comparing the lowering of vapor pressure of the solution to the pure solvent, that is nothing but RLVP. So as per the Raoult's law, we know that Raoult's law. So what is the Raoult's law? So here I have mentioned here the partial vapor pressure of the each volatile component in the solution is directly proportional to its mole fraction. So about Raoult's law, you have studied in the previous classes. Okay, so Raoult's law gives us the relation between partial vapor pressure and its mole fraction. So partial vapor pressure of the each volatile component in the solution is directly proportional to its mole fraction. So this can be written as like this. So P1 is directly proportional to X1. So P1 is equal to, so in order to remove the proportionality symbol, we can introduce here the partial vapor pressure of the pure solvent. So P1 means total solution pressure, and P1 or P01 is nothing but pure solvent vapor pressure, and X1 is nothing but mole fraction of the total solution. So P1 is equal to P01 into X1. So you know that mole fraction formula, X is equal to Na plus Nb, or otherwise Xa plus Xb is equal to 1. Okay, so mole fraction ante enti? Mole fraction of a solution is equal to mole fraction of all the components sum is equal to 1. So the individual mole fractions of all the components present in the binary solution is equal to 1. So therefore x1 plus x2 is equal to 1 అవుతుంది అనమాట. సో ఎప్పుడైతే ఈ x1 ఇలా తీసుకుంటున్నామో ఈ x1 ఏమవుతుంది 1 మైనస్ x2 గా రాసుకోవచ్చు మనం. సో x1 ప్లస్ x2 is equal to 1 అయితే x1 అనే దాన్ని 1 మైనస్ x2 గా మనం తీసుకోవచ్చు. సో therefore P1 is equal to P01. In place of x1 we can write, or we can take 1 minus x2. Okay, are you able to understand? So relative lowering of vapor pressure is nothing but the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure of a solution of non-volatile solute to the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. So we are comparing the lowering of vapor pressure to the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. So RLVP can be written as P01 minus P1 divided by P01. So we have a relation regarding partial vapor pressure which was given by Raoult. Okay, so Raoult's law states that partial vapor pressure of each component in the solution is directly proportional to its mole fraction. So this can be written mathematically like this: P1 is directly proportional to x1. So x means nothing but mole fraction of the total solution here. Okay, so x1 ని మనము ఏ విధంగా రాయొచ్చు అంటే 1 minus x2 గా రాయొచ్చు. So finally you can write P1 is equal to P01 into 1 minus x2. So ఈ విధంగా రాయొచ్చు. Now P1 is equal to P01 into 1 minus x2. The next step is, now I am multiplying P01 with 1 minus x2. We can get, or we will get, P1 is equal to P01 minus P01 into x2. So P01 x2. So finally you will get this one. So when you rearrange this one, so simple గా దీన్ని ఇటువైపు తీసుకురండి, లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ తీసుకురండి. P01 x2 ని లెఫ్ట్ హ్యాండ్ సైడ్ వైపు తీసుకొస్తే P01 x2 is equal to P01 minus P1. So when you take this one to the left hand side and it will come to the right, so that it becomes P01. సో ఇక్కడ మైనస్ వాల్యూ కాస్త ప్లస్ అవుతుంది. సో ఇటువైపు ఉన్నది ఇటువైపు వస్తే మైనస్ అవుతుంది. సో దట్ P01 x2 is equal to P01 minus P1. So this is nothing but what we discussed in the previous slide, that is nothing but lowering of vapor pressure. So P01 minus P1 ని నేను ఏ విధంగా రాస్తానంటే డెల్టా P1. Okay, can we write like this? P01 minus P1.
Change in
Shall we
pressure.
write like this? Delta P1. So delta P1 is nothing but lowering of vapor pressure. So what I shown you in the previous slide, see here, P01 minus P1 is equal to lowering of vapor pressure. So P01 minus P1 ని మనము డెల్టా P1 గా రాస్తాము. సో x2 is equal to డెల్టా P1 by, దీని ఇటువైపు తీసుకురండి న్యూమరేటర్లోకి, P01. సో x2 is equal to delta P1 divided by P01. And x2 is nothing but mole fraction of a component 2 అనుకోండి. So now this can be written as like this, delta P1 divided by P01 is equal to x2, and x2 is nothing but here the mole fraction of the solute. Okay, so N2. సో మోల్ ఫ్రాక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ది సొల్యూట్, ఒక సొల్యూట్ యొక్క మోల్ ఫ్రాక్షన్ రాసేటప్పుడు మనం ఏ విధంగా రాస్తాము? సో ఇట్ ఈస్ ద రేషియో ఆఫ్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ మోల్స్ ఆఫ్ వన్ కాంపోనెంట్ టు ది టోటల్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ మోల్స్ ఆఫ్ ది ఆల్ ది కాంపోనెంట్స్. సో N2 divided by N1 plus N2. So here in place of x2 we can write this one, N2 divided by N1 plus N2. So therefore P01 minus P1 divided by P01 is equal to N2 divided by N1 plus N2. So this is the formula of relative lowering of vapor pressure. So by using this we can calculate yes, weight of the solute and molar mass of the solute also. So ఇక్కడ N2 ప్లేస్ లో ఏం తీసుకుంటారు మీరు? నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ మోల్స్ ఆఫ్ సొల్యూట్. నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ మోల్స్ ఆఫ్ సొల్యూట్ ఎలా క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తారు? వి హ్యావ్ ఏ ఫార్ములా, వెయిట్ బై మోలార్ మాస్, W by GMW ఆర్ క్యాపిటల్ M. సో W by క్యాపిటల్ M తీసుకుంటారు. సో ఫర్ వెరీ డైల్యూట్ సొల్యూషన్స్ ఇట్ బికమ్స్ P01 minus P1 divided by P01 is equal to N2 by N1 అవుతుంది. ఎందుకంటే ఫర్ వెరీ డైల్యూట్ సొల్యూషన్స్ లో N2 అనేది ఇగ్నోర్ చేస్తాం, ఎందుకంటే డైల్యూట్ సొల్యూషన్స్ లో సొల్యూట్ కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ చాలా చాలా తక్కువగా ఉంటుంది. దట్స్ వై we can ignore that concentration of solute, so that it becomes N2 by N1, so that we can calculate the weight of the solute and molar mass of the solute by using these formulas. Okay, so this is about relative lowering of vapor pressure. Now we are moving to another slide, that is elevation of boiling point. See how the vapor pressure is lowered. We observed that. So when we add non-volatile solute to the solvent, pure solvent, the vapor pressure generally lowered. Okay, similarly here also when we add non-volatile solute to the solvent, pure solvent, the temperature will be temperature means here the boiling point of the solution will be increase. Okay, so that's why the increase in the boiling point of a liquid when a non-volatile solute dissolved in it is called elevation of boiling point. For example, if you take a pure solvent, so pure solvent యొక్క boiling point let it be 100 degrees centigrade అనుకోండి. So let it be water యొక్క boiling point 100 degrees centigrade. For example, if you add a non-volatile solute to that liquid, okay, we make a solution, and now the solution boiling point will be higher than that of the pure solvent, definitely. Okay, so water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. That is the boiling point of water. When we add some solute, non-volatile solute especially, then automatically boiling point will be increase. Okay, so this increase in the boiling point of a liquid when non-volatile solute is dissolved in it is called elevation of boiling point. Okay, so non-volatile solute ni మనం యాడ్ చేయడం వల్ల బాయిలింగ్ పాయింట్ అనేది ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది. So that is nothing but elevation. Elevation means increasing of boiling point. So you can observe this diagram also. Here in this graphical representation, we have taken vapor pressure in the y-axis and the temperature in the x-axis. So let us, this one is the solvent. This is the solvent. Solvent boils at some temperature. Okay, so initially it is boiling at a particular temperature. When it reaches to the atmospheric pressure, that is called its vapor pressure. Now when you take solution boils at here, temperature పెరిగిందా? సొల్యూషన్ అంటే ఏంటి? సొల్యూట్ ప్లస్ సాల్వెంట్. ఇక్కడ నాన్ వోలటైల్ సొల్యూట్ ని యాడ్ చేయడం ద్వారా మనము సొల్యూషన్ ప్రిపేర్ చేసాం. ఈ సొల్యూషన్ యొక్క బాయిలింగ్ పాయింట్ అనేది ప్యూర్ సాల్వెంట్ కంటే ఎక్కువగా ఉంటుంది. సో దట్స్ వై బాయిలింగ్ పాయింట్ ఈస్ ఎలివేటెడ్ హియర్. దట్ ఈస్ known as elevation of boiling point. Okay, so solvent boils at particular temperature which is below than that of the boiling point of the solution. So solution is boiled at this particular temperature. Okay, so solvent అనేది తొందరగా బాయిలింగ్ పాయింట్ ని రీచ్ అవుతే సొల్యూషన్ అనేది కొంత లేట్ గా బాయిలింగ్ పాయింట్ ని రీచ్ అవుతుంది. కాబట్టి బాయిలింగ్ పాయింట్ లో ఎలివేషన్ అనేది మనం క్లియర్ గా అబ్జర్వ్ చేయొచ్చు. సో దిస్ ఇంక్రీజ్ ఇన్ ద బాయిలింగ్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ ఏ లిక్విడ్ when a non-volatile solute is dissolved in it is called elevation of boiling point. So let us, this boiling point of the pure solvent is taken as T0B. T0B is said to be boiling point of the pure solvent, and TB is said to be boiling point of the solution. Okay, then the difference between the boiling points of these two liquids is said to be delta TB. So this can be written as delta TB is equal to del TB minus T0B. The difference between the boiling points of the two liquids is stated as elevation of boiling point. For very dilute solutions, the elevation of boiling point is directly proportional to molality. Molality is denoted by small m. Molality means, you know, number of moles of solute present in 1 kg of solvent. That is called molality. Okay, so you might have studied in the early classes of solutions. So we can write elevation of boiling point is directly proportional to molality of the solution. So that delta TB is nothing but elevation of boiling point is directly proportional to m, and delta TB is equal to Kb into m. So here, in order to remove the proportionality symbol, we can insert one constant that is called Kb. It is known as molal elevation constant, or otherwise we can call it as boiling point elevation constant, or otherwise we can call it as ebullioscopic constant. It is very, very important 2 marks question which was given several times for the public examination. Okay, సో మనకు పబ్లిక్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్ లో ప్రీవియస్ పేపర్స్ లో ఒక 2-3 టైమ్స్ ఇచ్చినట్టున్నారు. ఎబిలియోస్కోపిక్ కాన్స్టెంట్ అంటే ఏంటి? సో డిఫైన్ ఎబిలియోస్కోపిక్ కాన్స్టెంట్. సో elevation of boiling point is directly proportional to molality. So here delta TB is directly proportional to m, and delta TB is equal to, in order to remove this proportionality symbol, we should insert one constant that is called Kb. So Kb into m. So here Kb is the ebullioscopic constant or boiling point elevation constant. So how can we define the ebullioscopic constant? See here, very important definition, which is very important for 2 marks, especially for the public examination. It is defined as the elevation in boiling point observed in 1 molar solution of a non-volatile solute. So this is nothing but ebullioscopic constant, and its units are Kelvin, kilogram per mole. Okay, so ఈ units ని మనం ఎలా derive చేయొచ్చు అంటే, simply you can take this formula. See here, delta TB is equal to KB into m కదా. సో దీన్ని నేను రీఅరేంజ్ చేశాను, ఇలా రాశాను. KB is equal to delta TB divided by m. సో దీన్ని ఇలాగే ఉంచి ఈ మొలాలిటీ m ని ఇటువైపు తీసుకెళ్ళండి. ఇది
వాయిస్ నాట్
డినామినేటర్ లో రాస్తాం. సో వాయిస్ వినపడలేదమ్మా? ఎస్, ఓకే. సో ప్లీజ్ చెక్ యువర్ సిగ్నల్స్. ఓకే, ఒకసారి మీ సిగ్నల్స్ కరెక్ట్గా ఉన్నాయో లేదో చెక్ చేసుకుని ఆ ఏరియాలో కూర్చోండి, చక్కగా వినొచ్చు. సో ebullioscopic constant means it is defined as the elevation in boiling point observed in 1 molar solution of a non-volatile solute. So its units are Kelvin, kilogram per mole. Okay, so ఈ యూనిట్స్ ని మనం ఎలా డిరైవ్ చేయొచ్చు అంటే, మీరు ఈ ఫార్ములాని యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఓకే, సో ఐ హోప్ యూ అండర్స్టాండ్ ద ebullioscopic కాన్స్టెంట్ ఆల్సో. ఓకే, నౌ ఇక్కడ నుంచి మనము ఈ డెల్టా టీబీ వాల్యూస్ ని ఇంకా కొంచెం ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్దాం. See here, molality formula. We know that molality is equal to, molality means number of moles of solute present in 1 kg of solvent. Okay, so మనం ఏ విధంగా రాయొచ్చు? W2 by M2 into 1000 by W1, ఈ విధంగా రాయొచ్చు. లేదు, M is equal to W2 into 1000 by W1 M2. So like this also we can write the molality formula. So delta TB is directly proportional to M, and delta TB is equal to KB into M. So in place of M you can write the total value, you will get this one. So delta TB is equal to KB as it is, I have written here and I have taken, and in place of M this total value I have taken here. Okay, so by knowing this formula we can calculate the colligative property of elevation of boiling point of a solution. సో ఒక సొల్యూషన్ యొక్క ఎలివేషన్ ఆఫ్ బాయిలింగ్ పాయింట్ ని మనము క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయొచ్చు ఈ ఫార్ములా ద్వారా. సో ఇఫ్ యు నో ఆల్ దీస్ వాల్యూస్, you can calculate the elevation of boiling point, or otherwise if you know the temperatures, means boiling points of the pure solvent and solution, and if you don't know the weight of the solute, we can calculate the weight of the solute also, or otherwise if you don't know the molar mass of the solute, we can calculate the M2 value also. Okay, so from this equation or from this mathematical expression we can calculate the elevation of boiling point, that is called colligative property, one of the colligative property of the solution. So from this W can be calculated and molar mass can be calculated of the non-volatile solute. Similarly we have one more colligative property, that is called depression in freezing point. So it is similar to the elevation of boiling point. So when we add non-volatile solute to the pure solvent, boiling point is elevated or boiling point is increased. Now when you add non-volatile solute to the pure solvent, freezing point will be decreased. For example, water freezes at 0 degrees centigrade. When you add a non-volatile solute to the liquid, now the freezing point will be decreased. That is nothing but decrease in freezing point. So you can see the decrease in freezing point of a solvent when a non-volatile solute is dissolved in it, and it is called depression of freezing point or depression in freezing point. See here in this graphical representation, okay, vapor pressure versus temperature. So solvent, pure solvent freezes at this temperature. Pure solvent freezes at this temperature, okay, and whereas the solution freezes at this temperature, okay, solution freezes at this temperature because a non-volatile solute is added to the pure solvent, and it is treated as a solution. So when a non-volatile solute is present, the freezing point is decreased. That's why decrease in freezing point can be observed here from this graphical representation. So the decrease in freezing point of the solvent when a non-volatile solute is added is known as depression in freezing point. Okay, so let us similar to the elevation of boiling point, here also we can take delta, sorry, not delta, T, capital T naught F. T naught F means freezing point of the pure solvent. T naught F is the pure freezing point of the pure solvent, and TF is the freezing point of the solution. So the difference between the freezing points of these two solutions or two liquids can be written as delta TF, and delta TF is equal to T naught F minus TF as it is decreasing. Okay, so ఇందాక మనము delta TB is equal to TB minus T naught B రాసాం, ఎందుకంటే అక్కడ బాయిలింగ్ పాయింట్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది, కానీ ఇక్కడ ఫ్రీజింగ్ పాయింట్ డిక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది కాబట్టి డెల్టా టిఎఫ్ ఇస్ ఈక్వల్ టు టీ నాట్ ఎఫ్ మైనస్ టిఎఫ్ రాస్తున్నాం. సో డెల్టా టిఎఫ్ is nothing but depression in freezing point. So for dilute solutions, this depression in freezing point is directly proportional to again molality, the same concept. ఓకే, సో మనం ఎలివేషన్ ఆఫ్ బాయిలింగ్ పాయింట్ దగ్గర డిస్కస్ చేసినట్లే సేమ్ పాయింట్ ఇక్కడ కూడా మనము డిస్కస్ చేస్తున్నాం. సో డిప్రెషన్ ఆఫ్ ఫ్రీజింగ్ పాయింట్ ఈస్ డైరెక్ట్లీ ప్రపోర్షనల్ టు మొలాలిటీ. మొలాలిటీ ఆల్రెడీ నో, నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ మోల్స్ ఆఫ్ సొల్యూట్ present in 1 kg of solvent. So delta TF directly proportional to m small m, and it is equal to KFM. So here I have taken constant. What is that constant here? Molar depression constant or freezing point depression constant, and it is also known as cryoscopic constant. Cryoscopic constant. Cryoscopy, you know that cryoscopy means it deals with low temperatures. Okay? So that's why that is why cryoscopic constant it is named as. Okay, so Kf is molar depression constant or freezing point depression constant, and it is also named as cryoscopic constant. So this is also important for 2 marks. Okay, define cryoscopic constant. See here, it is defined as depression in freezing point observed in 1 molar solution of non-volatile solute. It is similar to the ebullioscopic constant. Okay, there we have taken boiling point, elevation in boiling point observed in 1 molar solution, whereas here depression in freezing point observed in 1 molar solution of a non-volatile solute. So both are very similar. You can understand very easily and you can learn very easily. So its units are again Kelvin, kilogram per mole. Okay, same units you can take. Okay, so now the continuation of this one, delta TF as it is directly proportional to molality, it can be written as delta TF is equal to KF into M. Okay, as we are removing the proportionality symbol, we should insert a constant that is called KF. So delta TF is equal to KF into, in place of molality we can write this one, weight by molecular weight or molar weight into 1000 by W. Okay, so here delta TF is equal to depression in freezing point, and KF is equal to freezing point depression constant. M is nothing but molality total. M is nothing but molality. So when you write expansion for M, we can write this one WBMB. So weight of the solute or mass of the solute, this is molar mass of the solute, and this is said to be mass of a solvent. So by using this formula, we can again calculate the colligative property, that is called depression of freezing point. Okay, so by knowing all these values, we can calculate delta TF, or otherwise, if you don't know the weight of the solute, we can calculate W of solute, or otherwise, we can calculate molar mass of the solute also. So by using this formula, we can calculate molar mass as well as weight of the solute of non-volatile solute which is present in the solution. Okay, so all these are colligative properties, means which depends on the solute concentrations, not on the identity. So మనము ఎలాంటి మెటీరియల్ తీసుకున్నాం అనే దాని మీద కాదు, ఆ మెటీరియల్ యొక్క కాన్సంట్రేషన్ ఎంత ఉంది అనే దానిపైన డిపెండ్ అవుతే వాటినే మనం కాలిగేటివ్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ అని పిలుస్తాం. సో కాలిగేటివ్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ which depends on the solute particles, or the number of solute particles, or the concentration of the solute particles, but not their identity, or but not their nature. Okay, so that is why that is said to be colligative property. So this is about depression of freezing point. So let us move to another one, that is fourth one, osmotic pressure. So before going to discuss about the osmotic pressure, I would like to show you is basics of osmosis and diffusion also. So some students confuse osmosis, diffusion, వీటికి కొంత కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అవుతుంటారు. అందుకనేసి I have taken both this one, diffusion and osmosis also. So diffusion means in the first year intermediate you have learnt about diffusion. Okay, ఇక్కడ మీరు స్టేట్స్ ఆఫ్ మ్యాటర్ దగ్గర చదువుకుని ఉంటారు diffusion. Diffusion is nothing but spreading of particles from higher concentration to lower concentration in all the directions. That is called diffusion. You can see the diffusion here. In this tumbler, we have solute particles which are marked with red color, solute particles. These particles are located at one place. Here the concentration is more for solute particles, and the rest of the place in the tumbler, solvent is present. Solvent is present. The concentration of the solute is very, very less here, so that the solute particles will move from higher concentration to lower concentration in all the directions. Okay, so that equilibrium can be established like this. So when diffusion takes place, solute particles will diffuse from higher concentration to lower concentration in all the directions, so that the equilibrium will be established like this. So this is about diffusion. Whereas when you come to osmosis, in this, in a tumbler we have taken two solutions, in which one is with low solute concentration and another one with high solute concentration, which are differentiated or which are separated by SPM, means semi-permeable membrane. Please observe this. We have taken two solutions with low solute concentration this side and the high solute concentration this side, which are separated by semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so what you have to observe here, in osmosis process, solvent molecules are here. Here also solvent molecules are there. So through the semi-permeable membrane, the solvent molecules from here to here will move. Solvent molecules ikkadi nunchi ikkadiki induloki move avutayi. Solvent molecules, not solute. Please observe here. Diffusion lo solute molecules high concentration to low concentration. Whereas in the osmosis, solvent molecules will move from lower solute concentration to higher solute concentration through the semi-permeable membrane, is known as osmosis. Okay, and this osmosis process will be continued till the equilibrium is attained. చూడండి, ఇక్కడ కాన్సంట్రేషన్, సొల్యూట్ కాన్సంట్రేషన్ ఎంతైతే ఉందో ఇక్కడ సొల్యూట్ కాన్సంట్రేషన్ అంతే ఉంది. యూ షుడ్ నాట్ అబ్జర్వ్ ది లెవెల్స్. ఇక్కడ మీరు లెవెల్స్ ని అబ్జర్వ్ చేయొద్దండి, concentration of the solute in the unit area and concentration of the solute in unit area is equal. Now it is in equilibrium condition. So solvent molecules move from the low concentration to high concentration through semi-permeable membrane, and it is known as osmosis. Okay, I hope it is clear for you. Now I am moving to next slide. So then what is osmosis? This is the definition. The solvent molecules will flow through a semi-permeable membrane from pure solvent to the solution side through a semi-permeable membrane. This process of flow of solvent is called osmosis. So in this diagram also you can observe here solvent molecules are there, okay, and here the solution is there. From here to here solvent molecules move through the semi-permeable membrane. It is known as osmosis. So this flow of solvent into the solution will continue till the equilibrium is attained. So equilibrium వచ్చేంత వరకు, equilibrium establish అయ్యేంత వరకు ఈ solvent molecules solution లోకి అంటే లో కాన్సంట్రేషన్ సొల్యూట్ నుంచి హై కాన్సంట్రేషన్ సొల్యూషన్ వైపుకి మూవ్ అవుతూనే ఉంటాయి. ఎంతవరకు? ఈక్విలిబ్రియం ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ అయ్యేంత వరకు. సో దిస్ ప్రాసెస్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ osmosis. Then what is osmotic pressure? Enti osmotic pressure ante, see here again you can observe this diagram. So here we have solution and here we have the solvent. In solvent solute concentration is less and here the solute concentration is more. Okay, now from here to here అంటే ఇటువైపు నుంచి అంటే సాల్వెంట్ మాలిక్యూల్స్ నుంచి సాల్వెంట్ ఈ ఏరియా నుంచి సాల్వెంట్ మాలిక్యూల్స్ ఇటువైపుకి సెమీ పెర్మియబుల్ మెంబ్రేన్ ద్వారా వెళ్తాయి. ఎప్పటి వరకు? ఈక్విలిబ్రియం ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ అయ్యేంత వరకు. సో సాల్వెంట్ మాలిక్యూల్స్ ఫ్లో టేక్స్ ప్లేస్ త్రూ సెమీ పెర్మియబుల్ మెంబ్రేన్ into the solution in this diagram also. But these solvent molecules flow of solvent molecules can be stopped by exerting some pressure, by external pressure, by exerting some external pressure. Inka already some atmospheric pressure will work on both the containers, but by applying some external pressure we can stop the flow of solvent molecules from here to here. అంటే ఇటువైపు నుంచి వచ్చేటటువంటి సాల్వెంట్ మాలిక్యూల్స్ ని మనము కొంత ప్రివెంట్ చేయొచ్చు, స్టాప్ చేయొచ్చు. ఎలా స్టాప్ చేయొచ్చు? బై అప్లయింగ్ ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ప్రెషర్. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ప్రెషర్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఆస్మోటిక్ ప్రెషర్. సో ద ప్రెషర్ విచ్ ఈస్ రిక్వైర్డ్, ద ప్రెషర్ విచ్ ఈస్ రిక్వైర్డ్ to stop the inflow of solvent molecules into the solution, the pressure which is required or which is applied on this solution to stop the inflow of solvent molecules into the solution is known as osmotic pressure. Again I am reminding you this is very important 2 marks question, osmotic pressure. It was given several times for the public examination. Define osmotic pressure. So osmotic pressure means the pressure required to be applied on the solution to stop the inflow of solvent molecules into the solution when the solution is separated from the solvent by a semi-permeable membrane. So it is known as osmotic pressure. So for dilute solutions, osmotic pressure is depends on the concentration of the solute. See here, osmotic pressure again it is a colligative property. It depends on the number of solute molecules. So experimentally osmotic pressure is directly proportional to molarity. So that is nothing but C. So osmotic pressure can be denoted with pi. So pi is directly proportional to molarity, concentration C at a given temperature T. So osmotic pressure is proportional to the molarity of the solution at a given temperature. So as per the statement we can write the mathematical expression like this. So pi is directly proportional to concentration.
మెసేజ్
Please stop talking.
అందరికి ఇప్పుడు చదువుకునే బుక్స్ తెచ్చు
Yes.
సెకండ్ ఇయర్
Yes. So osmotic pressure is directly proportional to the concentration, that is called molarity of the solution at a given temperature. So therefore, we can write the equation like this mathematical expression. So pi is directly proportional to C and T, so that we can write pi is equal to C or T. So we have taken a constant here that is called gas constant, universal gas constant. So here pi is nothing but osmotic pressure, C is nothing but concentration, R is gas constant, and T is absolute temperature. So in place of C, we can write N2 by V. N2 by V means number of moles of solute present in 1 liter of the solution. So it is the definition for molarity. So molarity place lo C place lo nenu rastunanu N2 by V rastunanu. So therefore pi is equal to N2 by into RT. So N2 plus em rayachu manamu. N means number of moles. How can we calculate the number of moles? By taking weight by molar mass. That is nothing but W2 by M2. So in place of N2, we can write N2 by M2 also. Therefore, pi is equal to ఈ denominator లో ఉండే v ని ఇటువైపు తీసుకొస్తాను. Therefore, pi v is equal to W2 into RT divided by M2. So therefore, M2 ని ఇటువైపు తీసుకొస్తే left hand side కి, so that is M2 is equal to W2 into RT divided by pi v. So we can calculate the molar mass of the solute. How much amount of solute is present and what is the molar mass of the solute can be calculated by using this formula while osmosis is occurring. So by knowing these quantities like W2, T, pi and V, we can calculate the molar mass of the solute. So here one important question is there for 2 marks, that is called isotonic solutions. Isotonic solutions. Two solutions which have same osmotic pressure, but that must be two different substances. Two solutions of different substances having same osmotic pressure at a given temperature are called as isotonic solutions. So this is very important 2 marks question for your examination. So two solutions having same osmotic pressure at a given temperature are known as isotonic solutions. So please remember, this is the most important for your examination for 2 marks. And the next one is reverse osmosis. So far you have listened to me about osmosis. Osmosis takes place from lower solute concentration to higher solute concentration. Whereas reverse osmosis, it is reverse to the osmosis process. That is why we have to apply more pressure than the osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure కంటే ఇంకా ఎక్కువ pressure ని apply చేయడం ద్వారా we can allow the flow of solvent molecules to the pure solvent molecules of the solution to the pure solvent. So that is called reverse osmosis. See here, the direction of osmosis can be reversed. Okay, if the pressure larger than the osmotic pressure is applied on the solution side, అంటే ఇటువైపు osmotic pressure కంటే ఎక్కువ pressure ని అప్లై చేయడం ద్వారా మనము solvent molecules ని ఇటువైపుకి పంపించవచ్చు. That is nothing but reverse osmosis. So this reverse osmosis has wide applications in our day to day life. సో RO అని పిలుస్తూ ఉంటారు. ప్రతి ఒక్క ఈ రోజుల్లో ఆల్మోస్ట్ అన్ని చోట్ల అన్ని ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ లో అలాగే మన మోడల్ స్కూల్స్ లో కూడా రివర్స్ ఆస్మాసిస్ RO ప్లాంట్స్ అనేటివి పెట్టుకోవడం జరుగుతుంది. సో ఎందుకంటే వాటర్ ప్యూరిఫికేషన్. సో ఇన్ ఆర్డర్ టు గెట్ ప్యూర్ వాటర్, ఓకే, ఇన్ ఆర్డర్ టు separate or filter the solute or or impurities or ions, whatever left in the water. Okay, so we can use this important application in our day-to-day life also. So due to lack of time, we are unable to discuss all these things. So anyhow, reverse osmosis means it is reverse to the osmosis process, and the direction of osmosis can be reversed here. So we must have to apply high pressure in the solution side. So mainly this reverse osmosis is used for the desalination of seawater. Okay, so desalination means salts, soluble salts ni manamu remove cheyadaniki akkadi nunchi manaku pure water ni తీసుకోవడానికి ఈ రివర్స్ ఆస్మోసిస్ ప్రాసెస్ ని యూస్ చేస్తాం. సో హియర్ ఆల్సో హై ప్రెషర్ ఈస్ రిక్వైర్డ్ టు క్యారీ అవుట్ రివర్స్ ఆస్మోసిస్ ప్రాసెస్ ఆల్సో. అండ్ some porous membranes, okay, so which are prepared while using this reverse osmosis. We have to use the membranes, semi-permeable membranes. These membranes are being prepared by the using of some material is called cellulose acetate. So a workable porous membrane is a film of cellulose acetate which is used in the reverse osmosis process. So it is permeable to water but not impermeable to impurities or ions present in the sea water. Okay, so this is about reverse osmosis and water purification. Hello, Shashikala madam. Hello. Hello. Hello, Shashikala madam. Hello, Shashikala madam. Hello. So one more topic is left in the class, that is called abnormal molar mass. It takes some time to discuss, but you may have some classes right now from 3 to 4, I think. It will be discussed later. Okay, so thank you ma, thank you for joining with me.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir.
Madam.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Hello, Shashikala madam. Hello. Hello.
Sir?
Hello, Shashikala madam. Madam, టైం అయిపోయింది మేడం. లాస్ట్ ఒక టాపిక్ మిగిలిపోయింది, అబ్నార్మల్ మోలార్ మాస్. మేడం వినపడుతుందా? హలో
బాలాజీ సార్.
మేడం వినపడుతుందా? హలో మేడం, మీ వాయిస్ నాకు వినపడుతుంది క్లియర్ గా.
వాయిస్ రావట్లేదు సార్. ఇప్పుడు వస్తుంది. అయిపోయిందా సార్ క్లాస్?
అయిపోయింది మేడం. లాస్ట్ అబ్నార్మల్ మోలార్ మాస్ టాపిక్ మిగిలిపోయింది మేడం.
అవునా, మనం ఏం చేయలేంలేండి సార్. ఇంకా నెక్స్ట్ వాళ్ళు ఇంకా రేపు ఏమైనా కంటిన్యూ చేస్తారేమో చూద్దాము.
ఎక్కువ టాపిక్స్ ఉంటున్నాయి మేడం. కాలిగేటివ్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ లో
చెప్పండి సార్. బాలా సార్.
హలో సార్,
బాలాజీ
క్లాస్
సార్
ఉన్నట్టుంది
ఉన్నారు
3 to 4. సార్
ఏ
3 to
సార్
4
బాటనీనా
classes.
సివిక్స్ సార్ ఉండేది
Zoology
బాటనీ ఉంది సార్
సార్ ఇవాళ
Uh,
బాటనీ
మేడం.
జువాలజీ బాటనీ
బాటనీ ఉంది మేడం బాటనీ ఉంది బాటనీ ఉంది
బాటనీ క్లాస్ ఉంది
Ah,
మ్యామ్ 3 నుంచి
అవును సార్
4
దానికి డిస్టర్బ్ అవుతుంది కాబట్టి
అదే సార్
మనం
ఈరోజు
close చేద్దాం
ఎక్కువ
లేదు
సిలబస్ ఎక్కువ
అవునండి.
ఇచ్చేసారు సార్ దీంట్లో.
ఓకే నెక్స్ట్ టీచర్
అవునండి
ఎంగేజ్
సార్,
చేస్తారు
అవును.
సార్
సరే సార్.
రేపు క్లాస్ లో కొంచెం చూడమని చెప్దాంలేండి సార్.
ఓకే ఓకే మేడం.